everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now this is quite a nice piece of elm. What makes this particularly unusual is that it doesn't appear to have any worm damage. Elm is very susceptible to damage from insects, etc. And this one doesn't appear to have anything. It's not as if it is completely without problems. We do have this void here, which we'll have to bear in mind as we're working on it. But overall, it's in fairly good condition. Now the bark is incredibly loose, so whatever happens, I don't think we're going to manage to keep the bark on. Now, when I was looking at this piece, I had a few initial thoughts. First one was perhaps if I was to cut off this bottom limb here, I might be able to make a nice vase from this section. But then it occurred to me that I'd lose a lot of the nice grain coming up from the crotch, so I ruled that out fairly quickly. And then I considered perhaps doing a hollow form from this area here, but this dip we've got on the side here made me move on from that idea. So what I'm left with now is I'm thinking about cutting off these two limb areas here around there and then splitting this in half to give us two pieces. Now the advantages of doing that is hopefully it's going to expose the nice figure which I'm hoping is inside this piece. So I'm going to quickly mark on here with my white pen the bits I would like to trim off. We'll take it over to the bandsaw and get started. Okay, there we go. Nicely cut down the middle and trimmed. And it's exposed quite a remarkable grain going through the crotch area. This is where the two branches have split off, which leaves us this amazing figure going through the centre. Now if we'd turned a vase or anything like that, we'd have probably lost a lot of that, which would have been such a shame. Now again, if we turn it with this being the bowl on the top, we will have a good chance of losing this figure because it may not go any deeper than about there. So this is going to have to be on the base of the bowl. So looking at it between these two, that's the one with the dip. So I think I'm going to turn this one now. I'm going to quickly take this over to the pedestal drill, flatten off an area here so we can get it onto a chuck, and then we can get it on the lathe. Okay, there we go. Flat spot's done, so we can now get it onto the jaws. We're using the Versalock 50mm jaws because they go out a little bit further and it will clear us past this area here and get it seated nicely. Okay, we're nice and safely on the lathe. Now the key things here are we don't want to lose this kind of figuring we've got going on here. So at the moment the base is pretty flat. I will be doing a couple of passes along, but won't be doing too much. I'll be mainly concentrating on going up the edges and start to create a shape of a bowl or whatever it turns out to be. Now we do have a little bit of cracking on this end from that pith area, so I don't know how far this will go. It looks to be about an inch on this side, so hopefully there's a reasonable chance we might be able to turn that away. Initially turning at about 700 RPM. Mask and face shield will be on, and we're going to be starting with a 3/8 inch bowl gouge. an interesting start. Seem to have a bit of spalting up in this area here. A bit more as well. So this obviously runs all the way through there. We've still got a bit of cracking going on here, but there's nothing structural, so we're not worried too much about that. We haven't quite hit the top yet, so we've still got to go a little bit further. The feathering there isn't still nicely in the middle. Now what I'm hoping to do is when we get this turned round, we can get down hollowing enough on the inside to show some of this pattern on the inside of the bowl. Now we've got a bit of a bark inclusion there, which as we turn a bit further that may go, but it doesn't look horrible. So okay, all going well. Bit of a knot there as well. Right, I'm going to move tool rest around a bit to take off this little guy here. I'll work back this way to get rid of that, just so it doesn't risk it chipping out. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We're getting to the top of all these wings now. A little bit more to do on that one. Now I need to start thinking about a foot. We don't want to take away too much wood, so we're going to have a very, very shallow foot, probably starting around there, I think. And we're going to use a recess because that's going to save us the most wood possible on this base. Now I'd like to take this edge up a little bit higher because I think that rim there is going to be too low. So a few more passes up the side, we'll create this base and then we'll look at a recess. Okay, let's see how that did us. Alright, maybe I'd still like to go a little bit higher on this side still, although we may not get the opportunity. These areas looking good. Might need to sharpen up again and do another pass on there because there's a little bit of tear out, which you always tend to get on winged pieces because you're not getting a consistent cut because you're hitting and missing all the time. But we'll try and do a little bit better there. Foot's taking shape, I like that. I've done quite a steep curve on this edge, which I'm not quite sure if I like. I don't hate it, but I need to live with it a little bit longer to decide. This would all come off being bark, so that's going to make for an interesting shape round there. Okay, interesting progress. I think I'll just take this curve a little bit more rounded and a little bit higher here. I can do that without altering these top areas, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, right, that's brought that up nicely now, so I'm happy with that. I like that curve. I think I'll just quickly sharpen up again, sort out this top area, and then we can worry about the base. Okay, nice slow cut, and that's certainly done the trick. Excellent. Right, it's a shame about this bark, but yeah, there's no way we can save that. Okay, right, let's worry about this foot. Now, we've got deeper there than we have here, so our shallowest point is what it's going to have to all conform to. I don't want to go up any deeper than I have to, otherwise we may lose this beautiful grain here. Okay, that's a relief. We've managed to flatten off that base and still keep that beautiful figure. I just need to soften that edge and then put the recess in, and then we can sand. Okay, that's the recess in. Now, on such a wide foot, I would usually put a few decorative lines or grooves in there, but because we've got such a beautiful figure, there's absolutely no need whatsoever. Right, I'll set up for sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it, and I'll bring you back when we're done. Okay, that's all done. Sanding went very, very well. I'm just going to put on a bit of isopropyl now just to clear any dust left in the grain. And just have a look at this amazing figure. I love elm. It's one of those woods that is just so unique in its colour and its grain pattern. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all the usual things. It doesn't cost you anything, it's completely free, and it does make a huge difference to us. Right, we'll let this dry and then we'll come back on with a sealer. That's had a good chance to dry, so I'm just going to go on with a bit of blonde shellac sealer. I'm thinking about putting a different finish on this to my usual, something I've never tried before. So when this has dried, we'll turn it around and we're going to start on the other side. And the finish we're going to apply all at the end. I'll give it 2 coats of sealer in this instance. Right, we'll let this dry. I'll put on the second coat and I'll bring you back when we're starting the inside. Okay, we've got it turned round. As you can see, we have quite a lot of height variation on the surface. So initially, what I want to do is start taking some of this big lump away here. So hopefully we can start to pick up the speed a little bit. And then we'll work up to the edges. Now, where is it? There it is. We've got a little knot sitting out here. And I'm thinking that the edge of this bowl hopefully wants to be almost halfway through that little knot. So I'm going to try and cut that in half. I've just sharpened up again. Initially turning at about 720 RPM, but hopefully when we get this big lump out, we can pick that up. Okay, that's a nice big lump taken out, so I'm going to try and increase the speed a little bit now. And we'll start working towards the edges and then taking it down in the middle. It's going to have to go an awful long way to get to these low parts, but we need to get down there to hopefully uncover the nice figure at the base. Okay, I've just stopped it there because I need to take the tailstock away just so I can get closer cutting on this edge. As you can see, we're not quite at that nib yet, so this will come away and that'll help us get closer in. Aha! We started to cut him. Excellent. That's just where I wanted to be. Maybe a little bit thinner still. But that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Just see have this little nib just sticking out. All proud like. Okay, it's going well, and you can start to see that figure appearing on these lower edges here, which is exactly what we wanted. Now you'll also see we've also got quite a few tool marks on these areas here, so I'm just going to quickly get in with a a scraper or do something there to try and tidy those up, because the more we hollow out here, the less stable these wings will become. So I'm going to just quickly tidy these up before we go any further in. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. Still got a bit of end grain tear out there. I think I'll try that again, but with a bowl gouge. Well, I got that completely wrong. Absolutely completely. Right. Okay. Let's start hollowing out the rest, and I'll try and make up for that mistake as I go along. Okay, we're starting to flatten the bottom off nicely. Still got a little bit of room to go a bit deeper, but it's good to see this figure appearing all the way across. It should go all the way after a few more passes. Now, I said I made a mistake earlier on. It was purely because I went too thin. Our little nib that we've got here is now hanging on by a thread. So I'm going to take this a little bit deeper and then try and save these sides with a cross between sanding and a few pull cuts and maybe a scraper as well. Scrapers on end grain, they tend to do an awful lot more damage than they do cleaning up, unfortunately, especially in this case. So anyway, right, we'll take off a bit more of this base and see if we can get a nice smooth join into the wings. Okay, pretty happy with that base. I don't think we can do much more to that. We've got this figure going all the way across now, which is exactly what we wanted. The rest, I think I'm just going to have to knuckle down and sort with sanding. Right, I'll set up for that. I'll let you watch a bit of it, and I'll bring you back when it's done. There we go. The insides of natural edge bowls are always a huge challenge to sand, but we got there. We've managed to keep our little stalk there as well. Right, a bit of isopropyl alcohol just to clean out the grooves and gives us an idea of how this grain looks on this side. I'm so pleased we managed to uncover the grain on this side as well as the base. Right, so let's let this dry and then we'll come back with a sealer. Okay, that's all nice and dry, so we'll go on again with the blonde shellac sealer. I'll do the same as I did last time by applying 2 coats. Not forgetting the edge. Okay, right, I'll bring you back when these 2 coats are dry and we're going to put on the first coat of finish. Okay, I've got the piece off the lathe. It's dried nicely. Now what we're going to use today is a pure tung oil. I've never used this as a finish before, so it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. One of the main reasons I've never used it before is because it takes 24 hours to dry between coats, making it quite laborious. But once it's on, it should hopefully give us a nice food safe, waterproof, long-lasting finish. Now I'm going to apply it with a cloth. I'm just going to soak the cloth in the oil and then apply relatively liberally, although we will be coming to wipe it off after about 20 minutes, just taking off any excess. If you don't wipe off the excess, then you do get a very sticky surface. You can apply it with a brush as well. Okay, that should about do it. I'll come back in 20 minutes, give it a wipe down, removing any excess. And then tomorrow, at the same time, I'll apply a second coat. And then when that's all done, I shall bring you back and we'll take a look at the finished article. Well, there we go. A natural edge elm bowl finished with tung oil. Now I used 2 coats of tung oil in the end, and it really has produced quite a nice shine. I really am quite impressed with it. It does take an awful long time for it to dry. I took it into the house to let the coats dry overnight because it's just too cold in the workshop. It would have taken far too long, so I think that's the best way forward until either my garage door is fixed or the summer comes. Hopefully the garage door is fixed first. And this is going to be perfectly food safe. You'll be able to wipe it down. It'll be fairly water resistant, so this could be quite useful. I'm so pleased we managed to uncover this wonderful figure in the grain on this side as well as the back. If we'd turned it the other way up, there is no way we'd have seen any of this. Maybe a little bit on the edge, but it would have all been lost. So the decision to turn a natural edge from our original piece, I think in this case was certainly the best one. Now I was going to turn it the other way up from this piece, but given the results we've got here, I think another one like this is definitely on the cards. It would just be a kind of a mirror image to it. And I think that, not there, is what we managed to save here. He's a nice little guy, I like him. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all the usual things. And if you could share it as well, that would be absolutely amazing. Don't forget, if you do leave a comment, you are going to be entered into the giveaway, which is getting very, very close now. We are going to be doing probably a couple of giveaways this next month. One for hitting 50,000 subscribers and one for our birthday, which is on the 16th of March. Exactly how this will all run, I'm not quite sure yet, but I've got a few things planned, so I'll let you know what they are a little bit closer to the time. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you.